you've heard my voice, and now it's time to see my face. Nice to meet you all. I'm the author of several poetry books. My newest one is called Catgirl and Wise Tiger, Bloom in Love. My name is Ammie Harrison, by the way. Um, let's give you a little sneak peek. I'm weird. Is that something you all feared? Well, guess what? Here's a deep cut. I'm not like you. I embrace my inner me, but I used to put on a mask. Why, you may ask? To avoid being judged. I wore makeup, but it later got smudged. I wanted to be like you and drink from your cup, but I had enough. Life was getting too rough. I burned the mask. That was my favorite test. Well, enough about me. I'll see you at a later date. Now it's off to speak with David. See you soon.
Thanks, Amy, and welcome. It's good to be here with you all. Today's episode is going to be a little different. No guests, no big agenda, just a real honest catch up. Think of this as one of those late night conversations with a close friend where you both finally exhale and ask, okay, so what's really been going on with you? And yes, this time I do have a script because I want to run things in such an order that I feel like I can show you me unscripted, but scripted. So my responses to how I talk on this podcast will be from my heart, but it's been recommended as a suggestion to talk about in the script. So I've been meaning to sit down and record something like this for a while now. Sometimes life, as you know, gets busy or even messy, and you don't quite realize how much has shifted until you pause long enough to reflect. So if you're in a job, yes, you tend to forget about the reality of things around you because you're so focused on the job. If you're in a relationship, you tend to think of what's good in that relationship and you tend to set aside the pleasures that come with having fun. Yes, you can have fun with your partner or spouse or whoever, but there is time for where you need to be having time for yourself. So that's just what this is all about. This episode is about a pause, a check-in, a little window into what's been going on behind the scenes in my life. The changes, the challenges, and the moments of clarity I didn't even see coming. So let's start with the big picture. Okay. Over the past few months, I've been in a season of transition, let's just say. Not always in a loud, dramatic way, but more in those quiet internal shifts. The kind that sneak up on you and say, hey, you've outgrown this. It's time to evolve. And yes, I have evolved. Since doing the podcast way back when I first started, I've evolved in such a way. Gone is me using tablets and then uploading and saving onto actual hard drive and now going into a proper computer where I actually got a proper camera. I can feel talk freely. I've got the resources now to edit. So if I was to say jump cut, I could jump cut it or add in a jump cuts. So I've evolved in that way. But editing, I generally don't edit. This will probably not be edited. The only bit that be edited is the fact that it's gone from Amy to me. That's the only edit I will do. I'm going to keep this as raw, honest, and upfront with you all. Why? Because that's how the journey is. When I'm interviewing guests, I've always told people to be their true selves. Never hide behind that mask. Be free to talk freely and openly and honestly about how things are. And trust me, that's what it's about. That's what my passion is for the journey. It's about listening to people, giving them the voice that they can't feel censored by. And being censored is no fun. Being belittled is no fun. Being told to shut up is not fine. Being you is fine. So, one of the biggest changes in recent months It's about me as oh, yes, I have had a day job where I've been recording podcasts at the weekends, and this I'm going to upload pretty much straight away because I want people to see I'm being me, but also I want to show people that I'm me. I'm not wearing my glasses today. I got my hair tied up because it's getting that long. It looks really scraggly, as you've seen or probably know about. But that's okay. This is okay. What I'm showing now is okay. I'm not showing much emotion, but the emotion is it's okay to be you. I've learned that a lot over the last couple of years. Now, for those who do know me well, yes, I was in a situation that I thought I was happy in. And trust me, I thought I was really happy. I wasn't happy. I did the thing that I felt like I had to do, and that's get away from it. And I did. I started again, and look where I am now, talking to you freely about me. Yes, it's not always about me, it's about being here for you to understand me and to understand the journeys I listen to constantly every week when I interview people, because that's their journey. You don't want to hear about me. I put myself down so much, I think, why would you want to hear about me? Because you know about me. Well, maybe you don't. If you don't know about me, welcome to my life. Welcome to me. Welcome to knowing me. I'm thankful for you being part of my life. I'm thankful for you following the journey. Yes, it's been a big screw up, but the screw up is part of life. Part of screwing up is actually learning from those screw ups. I've learnt that the hard way again and again and again. Like I said, I had a job recently. I'm not going to say the name. For those who know me, you know what job I was doing, and I respect that. You know that I'm the best I can be. I was told, you know, that I was not performing well. I was trying my best, and trying my best, it was not their best. Like I said, I'm not holding anyone accountable because at the end of the day, it takes two. So yeah, maybe I wasn't doing well, but I thought I was. In their eyes, I wasn't. Balanced affair. I try my best in everything. That's been the biggest challenge for me in any job I've done. Whether it's been volunteering, whether it's been actually trying to find something solid, I've always tried my best. It's a difficult thing. It's difficult for you. But ultimately, you've got support. I've got support. Not doing this alone. I have got the support. I have got people saying, David, you have got this. Because I know I've got this. Even in the toughest times, I know in my own mind I have got this. Yes, it's difficult to know sometimes that actually people don't give you that chance. They don't give you that valued time. They say they do, they don't. What do? You move on. Or if they tell you to move on, you have to accept it. And yes, you do accept it. You don't sit there and let them bully you. Whichever job you're doing, you get people like that. Yes, I know. I'm 41. I know. I've been in a few positions now where I felt like I thought I was good for that job. Clearly, I'm not. I'm not defined as a label to say David is good for that job because I'm not. Amy herself has told me don't be defined from what you have been told is good for you. For so many years, you get used to it. You get used to the fact of being told you can only be good at this or it's a job for life. It's not a job for life because a job comes and goes. No matter how old or how young you are, it's part of evolution. You evolve over time. Time is a factor in everything. If you're not happy, you've got to make the time to move on. If you don't make the time to move on, let them move you on. But don't feel bullied by the fact of you got to move, you got to do it now. Do it in your own way, do it in your own pace. Why? Because it is that way. You are your own goal setter, you are your own target setter. You are you. Simple, easy, effective. That's what it is. They need to give you time to actually adapt to your way. They have to give the fact of understanding you. They have to give you the time. They have to understand you. You give them your time. You give you their understanding. What can I say on that? Honestly, if you don't meet in the middle, why are you there? I don't know. I can't answer for you. From my side, I tried my best, no matter what. I gave my time. I gave my understanding. Yes, I fall ill. I will recommend say that as well. You can't help falling ill, but guess what? Used against you. How can you justify it when there's no union, no one to out back you? You're alone. Yes, you got your partner, your wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, whichever sex, gender, whatever you are, you have got someone. But ultimately, when it comes to the workplace, the only person who can hold your hand is yourself. Yes, you can have the advice given to you to go back into the workplace and say, well, but you're there alone, unless you ask for someone to be there for you. But who truly is there for you? Goes on, doesn't it? So, at first, and this is me going back to the script, at first I didn't realize how much I needed this shift. Why? Because, like I said, for so long, I've been drilled into the mindset David can do this, David can do that. Yeah, I listened because I truly believed that. Yes, I have got the experience of talking on the radio because of my time being a voiceover for people's shows and being part of someone's show, being the voice of a cat or dog. That was being something. I was happy being that. If I'm being Kitty the cat or Tiger the dog, me using my voices again. I'm good for that. When it comes to another situation, why listen to someone who thinks it's good for you? Because trust me, only you as an individual knows what your skill set is. Yes, you can boast and say, I've got this behind me, I've got that behind me. It goes back to that lifelong cycle of when I was growing up, I wanted to wear that label. That label saying, I am David. Big bold letters on my forehead. I am David. That label shouldn't be defined on you. People, as I've been told over the years, should define you as being you, not wearing that label. That label that you stigmatize on yourself. Why? Like I said, you go into the workplace now. I am David. Yes, when you in a new job and people getting to know you, you wear that badge saying, "Hi, my name is David." It doesn't say underneath that badge like 10,000 skill sets. They don't want to know your skill sets. If they ask you, they ask you. If they value you, they will get to know you. Whichever job you do, that's how I look at it. The skill set of, imagine if I wore that badge and I was to say, my name is David, and then it drops down 10,000 skills. I'm not saying I've got 10,000 skills, but imagine if it dropped down with open ear and then you open it and it comes up with 10 of my favorite skills. Does that define who I am? No, it doesn't. What defines me is my name is David. They don't need to see my skill sets. Go into the job, yes, they will all say, what are you good at? Will they say, okay, this is David, when they introduce me to other workers and say, David is this? They don't need to know. They don't have to be defined by David is British or David is Cornish or David is English. You might not understand him. David is defined as seeing what they see David doing. Passionate about it, I know, because I am. I will always be passionate. It's like I'm passionate about people having success. I'm passionate about people given a chance. When you feel undervalued in your job, do you get that satisfaction from people? No. The only satisfaction who should give you that feeling is you. It goes back to you being you. When you're in that job, who looks at you the most? You. Who looks at for the best interest for you? You. It might take a few random people to say, oh, David is this, David is that. I'm using me as an example in this because I don't want to go into other people's agendas because that's their own agenda. But if it resonates with you, you can leave the message in the comments. But ultimately, there is only you that knows how you can be as a person. That's all it is. Can you resonate with yourself? Yes. Can you understand yourself? Yes. You have to have people constantly patting you on the back and saying, good girl, good boy, or well done, you're doing a good job, man. No. The only person who should recognize that I'm doing is you to say, oh, that was a good day, David. How did you feel? And then you write it down if you want to write it in a journal, write it down on a piece of paper. Recognize it. Embrace it yourself. Don't let others tell you because you don't know very true to what they're saying. You know you're true to yourself if you listen to yourself. That's the way it is. Be you. Listen to yourself carefully. So it was, as it says in my notes, in routines that didn't reflect who I was becoming. And yes, it took a little burnout because I have been feeling burnt out. I have been feeling exhausted. A few hard conversations. Yes, I've had that. I've had hard conversations how I feel at home because I feel like I take my issues home with me. But it's not fair on my own situation to hear, but I know the expression goes, yes, I'm here for you, and respect what's around me, and I do appreciate what's told to me when I'm at home. And I know it can be hard when I'm having that hard discussion with the fact of, I'm reaching out to express how I feel. You can't have that at the workplace, sadly, because what will they do? They will turn around and laugh at you, no doubt, or they will say, no, there's no problem here. And who's going to win? The person who's been there longer or the person who knows themselves or even both? The answer is yes, the person at the place in concern, they got the superiority. But ultimately, you in your own self know how you feel. And no matter how much you try and push for yourself, what happened? I'll go back to the saying, you're doing it for you. You walk away before it gets too much. You got to walk away. Because do you want to sit there and take it? Do you want to stand there and just say, oh, they don't mean it and just brush it off? No, you got to believe in yourself more. I'm starting to believe myself a lot more, but at the same time, when I get knocked back, I think, why? That's where my burnout occurs because I doubt myself so much. I physically hate the fact of how I am sometimes. My mental abuse on my own self is so painful sometimes when I do it and try and knock sense into myself. I wish I wasn't like that. And it goes into the sad fact of mental health. Mental health does suck. Mental health is a silent killer if you don't let it get to you. If you let it get to you, mental health will kill you, guaranteed. Or if it doesn't kill you, it will leave you in a shell of a body. Do you want that? No. Do you want to be where people are like, is he okay? Is she okay? In my case, is he okay? Why is he not responding to us? I've had that, but guess what? I put on a fake smile and say, I'm okay. I'm not okay. I wish I can support that I'm okay. Yes, I'm okay in the fact that I'm loved, I'm supported. I'm not okay in the fact of my mental health because I feel like my mental health is affected by the way I am because I let things get to me. Me talking openly and honestly now about this, some scripted, some not scripted. Like this isn't scripted, I'm just reading it as a guideline at the moment. But again, why burn yourself out? Why? And it goes back to what I used to be like. And I know for facts and for other people are. And if you've been one of these people, you can say, yes, I have in the comments below. Don't be a people pleaser. Why? Because people pleasing doesn't get you rewards. People pleasing doesn't get you the fact of recognition. People pleaser doesn't get you 20 extra, say if you're in America, dollars, pounds, if you're in England, wherever you are in the world, you don't want an extra 20 in your pocket just for being people pleasing. You have to earn that extra 20 just for being you and showing that you're being you. Easy. That's the definition of easy. If you go around people pleasing, they're not going to value you down the road if you're 10 years into a job to say, oh, David told me that, and I actually am pleased that he told me that. And he was doing that to please himself. No, don't do it for that reason. Do it for you. That's all it is. That's all the simple equation is. Be you, be real. Whatever saying goes, be real, be you. That's all it is. Simple. Can you define that? So I have given myself permission to start over. Not from scratch, but from experience. If I was to start from scratch, I wouldn't be here now talking, but I'm starting from experience. I'm learning to be more myself again. I'm learning the fact that I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not the label that I want to project myself saying I am David. Because yes, I am David, but do I need to wear the big neon sign pointing at me saying I am David? No. When I go into a job now, I'm going to put my mind into the focus of I am David. I get on with it. I'm going to focus on the fact that I might be crap. So what? I'm learning. Like I said, I'm 41. When I first started doing podcasts, I was whatever age I was. It was at the start of the pandemic, so that many years ago. But I'm going to do this for me. I'm not going to do this to please other people. Yes, I've got the support, I've got the love to say, you got this, and I appreciate that. And I will listen to their words of wisdom given to me. I even read books, incidentally, by Amy's book, what she said at the beginning. Do buy a book, they are worth reading. And that's just me saying nicely, please do buy her books. You want to follow a journey? Follow Amy's journey. Follow her book, you understand her journey. And like she said, at a later date, you hear her journey coming soon. So, new formats. I've been working on a lot of formats on the podcast, mostly down to imaging, mostly down to the fact of how I talk, how I present the journey. And I've got everything pretty much now that I need for a solid basis. There is a few teething things I need to work out, but in this day of age, I'm working with what I got and I'm happy with what I got. I got the webcam, I got the light, I've got the finally green screen, which as you can see behind me, I'm not disappearing into the ethos. So if it was the old me, I wouldn't care because that's me being shy and regressing into the old me where I used to be hiding a lot. So I'm working on a lot of ideas now to make the Journey podcast a better place. Yes, I would love hearing from you. If you have a journey for me to be hearing, email wisewords1983 at reborn.com. That's wisewords1983 at reborn.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And if you put in the subject box podcast, I know I will see it a lot more clearer. And I will look forward to hearing your journey. I'm getting guests that are willing to be coming back and talking about another part of their journey. I'm having guests tell me be part of our journey and be part of our podcast. I like that. I actually like the experience of actually talking about my life on the podcast when I do talk to guests. When, I do relate. There's certain topics I can relate to. Now, I'm not the wisest of them all, but I love to amuse. I love to educate. I love to inspire. I love to observe and I love to understand more. Like I said, I'm 41. I'm still learning. I love to learn new things. You love to learn new things. That's why you listen. That's why you tune into the journey. I'm thankful for you all being part of my journey. For those who've known me for however many years, you know my journey's been rough. You know my journey is not easy. But guess what? Whose life is never easy? Whose journey in life is never easy? Whose car is always beaten up if you're in a car? Whose train is always beaten up when you go on a train going on a train journey? Guaranteed you've known all those facts. And that's part of it. You don't want to go in a brand new state-of-the-art vehicle if you're in a car to say, oh, this car's telling me what to do. You want to go in a car that goes from A to B. Good. Simple. I like that. If you got an old spin model, whatever it's pronounced as, I can't pronounce some of these words, so I do apologize. If you got just a dial, good. If it moves, it moves. If it doesn't, wow, you can get it moving. If you got digital speedometer, even better. But even then, on the most modern cars, you get cars now that tell you what to do. You thought things were bossy at home sometimes from certain people. I'm not saying it is in my circumstance, but imagine being told by your car, turn left, turn right. That's the experience, but also at the same time, it's down to you to go your own way. If you feel like you shouldn't go left or right, go straight. Or if you feel even better, turn around and find another way. Easy way of doing it. So that's why I wanted to share this update with you, because maybe you're in a similar place. Maybe you've been evolving quietly too, and you haven't quite found the words for it yet. If so, just know you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. Listening to this now, I'm trying to keep it straightforward so you can understand me saying it in the nicest way. You're definitely not alone. I'll say it again. You are not alone. So, let me talk about what I've been learning lately. Well, first, rest is not a wasted time. I used to feel guilty for slowing down, like I had to constantly produce or achieve to feel valuable. But lately, I've been asking myself, who am I? Without the pressure, without the hustle. I often question that about myself because ultimately it's about that. It's not about the life pressures around you. It's about knowing who you are. And it does go back to what I said earlier. It's about you being you. Define that for yourself. Be you. Be real. So, what I found out is that rest often leads to the most honest creativity. This is why I'm talking now, as I am. Honest is the best creativity because it's raw, it's natural. I got the script. Yes. I'm not using it all the time. Yes. because I'm being passionate for my art. And it's in the stillness that ideas return. And yes, when I do have those quiet moments, I do get inspired. That clarity comes back into focus. Yes, I get the clarity. It gives me the push to actually make myself feel good that I'm doing something good. Like this podcast today, this special podcast just for you. It's just to make it feel good because that is what it's about. It's a feel good factor to be you. That's all it is. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe. It's free. Wherever you're listening or watching, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. Follow the journey. Follow my journey. Follow others on their journey. There's always going to be a podcast from my series that's going to hit someone at home and say, that's my life. That's my journey. If it is, follow it. Most of the podcasts have got links where you can actually get involved with that guest and get in contact with them and say, I heard you on the journey with David. If they say ooh, to send them a link and say, look, this is what you're talking about, David. That's where you can share a wise word or two and say, this is where I heard you and I believe in you. This is what I want for myself. Easy, simple. It's being there for one another. It's being about networking. It's about being friends. It's about reaching out to loved ones. It's about being there for yourself. Again, it's about being yourself is the most important. Can you do that? Can you do that for yourself? The answer, yes, you can. No matter how crap it is, yes, you can. So, uncertainty about what you want and about our uncertainty doesn't mean you're lost. You're definitely not lost. And it just means you're in between. I'm learning to embrace that in between space. It's uncomfortable, sure, but it's also where transformation happens. So being uncertain, remember, you're not lost in your own self. If you feel you're lost, listen back and think, okay, I was like that 9 years ago. I can be that again 9 years later. If you're a mum, if you're a dad, if you're a guardian, yes, you have the added pressure of being a parent, but you still can be yourself. That you don't have to be uncertain about things, even if you're a parent or guardian or wherever you are. Or even if you're in a relationship, you don't have to be uncertain if you've got the right backing from the right people to support you. First and foremost, your partner, your husband, wife, whoever, they are the ones who help you, guaranteed. But they will can only help you in the way that you want them to help you. Uncertain about that, ask them, and they will be there for you. Yes, I doubt myself sometimes when I'm actually trying to be there because I lack my own abilities, but I know I can be there and I have been there. And so finally, it's okay to outgrow things you've once prayed for. That's a big one. We involve, our dreams involve. And sometimes letting go is the bravest, kindest thing you can do for yourself. Yes, that is true. It's about letting go of past traumas. Yes, it doesn't happen overnight, as I've been told many times. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's about letting go. Goes back to the song, let it go, let it go. I won't, I'm not going to sing it, but it's about letting it go. Yes, you've been there. Yes, you've understood how it's been. Yes, you feel like it's part of your life. Yes, you let it be part of your life, but don't let it control you. Let it go of the memories. Yes, think of the good things. But don't think of the bad things to say, oh darn, or oh crap. Let it go where you can feel comfortable to say, I am David, or I am whoever you are called, and say, I can move on. I'm moving on now. Yes, I'm in the midst of the dilemmas of my thoughts, and like I said, I don't wish any ill health on my past, but I'm moving on. Why? Because I have to. If I let it control my life, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be well enough to carry on talking, and I wouldn't be well enough to carry on producing podcasts just for you to listen to. But I am here. I'm letting go and moving on. I've involved myself to actually feel like I can do something. Same goes with the job. I may have been happy in my own way doing what I was doing previous. Yes, it was crappy, maybe, but I'm moving on. I'm moving on to something I will hopefully feel better in. And I know I will feel better if I let myself. I mustn't think of what's done is done. I must think, I've done it, I've accepted it, I'm moving on, I can do it. And that's all I'm going to say to it. I can do it. I'm trying my best, and hopefully the best is the best they want. And trying to keep that level, I will do that. So, what does it all mean for this podcast? Well, one thing for sure. I'm not going anywhere, but I do want to shift how it shows there. I want to show dynamics. I want to be passionate. I want the guests to be passionate. I want them to be true to themselves. Yes, they are when they talk to me. They feel comfortable. I've had 5-star reviews from people to say, I love being part of David's podcast. Again, it's not about the recognition of 5-star reviews or people saying David's great at this. It's about being there. It's about understanding, listening. And that's what I want. I want to listen. I want to listen because I'm still learning. And I love hearing people's stories. I don't want that to change. So I will still be bringing in guests, diving into stories and ideas, but I want to make space for more of those personal reflections. So from time to time, I'm not going to say it'd be every single month or whenever. It'd be randomly when I feel in the mood for actually pushing myself to do it. I will make a special podcast where I will spend time with you and to be spending that reflection and understanding with you and helping you feel motivated, to feel amused, educated, inspired, observing and understanding. I will make that time. I'm not going to say it will happen every month. Like I said, it will happen when I feel like it. And I know with your support and love, I will get there. So if there's one thing I've learned, it's that vulnerability which creates connection. I'm not saying every single guest I've had have been vulnerable, but it builds a connection. I feel built honest friendships from some of my guests. I actually laugh at some of the stories I hear when I listen back at some of the podcasts because I feel part of their life. Even if they don't know me, if I was to go down the road and say, "Oh, do you remember?" And they're like, "No," I'm like, "Well, you were. You made a difference in my life." And that's what I want my podcast to be about. It's about making that change in your life. So before I wrap up, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting me. And if you've been listening from the beginning or you're just tuning in for the first time, thank you for showing up, for being part of this community, for being part of the journey. Your support, your messages, your shares, they matter more than you know. I'm passionate about when I hear feedback or, like I said, when people do give that 5-star review. I'm happy hearing that the guest was happy being part of the journey. I want you to be part of that as well, to say, David, your journey episode today was passionate. I believe in it. Yes, I can. Or you helped me understand myself more. It's about that interaction where you can engage, and I will respond back. If you leave a comment, I will respond back. Yes, it may be a simple thank you or thanks for sharing your views. At least you know it's me saying it to you and not some AI bot. Yeah, I am AI, me being goofy again. So this podcast started as a passion project when it was the start of the pandemic, like I said. It was passion because I love podcasts ever since I started listening to podcasts in 2004. That was the first podcast I listened in 2004. Doesn't seem like that, but it was 21 years ago, to be fact. Is that right? Yes, it is 21 years ago. And I do dedicate some of my inspiration down to the early podcasts I listened to. I'm not going to name drop anyone who I was listening to, but if you remember in the UK, if you're in the UK, podcasts were mainly organized by the BBC. So you can imagine who I was influenced by. If you're in America, you're influenced by the fact of, someone who went to Sirius XM because he felt like he was propagandicated to being silenced, and he felt like he shouldn't be silenced, that presenter. And now he presents on Sirius XM, and he's got a podcast, he's got a radio show. He can be passionate with how he wants to be. He can be freely he wants to be, and he's still a successful podcast guest host and radio show host because he's him. So, there's a lot of aspirational people out there from the world of podcast world who I actually aspire to. But I'm not being them. Do you know why? Because I'm being myself. That's all it is about being yourself. Like, I will use this example before I go into the closing words. But when I first did a radio show, when I said I'll cover for a radio show back in the day, 2011, I believe it was, I wanted to say to the presenter, which I did, I said, how do you want me to run your show? Because that person was away for 1 week, and they said, I don't mind David covering. And I said, how do you want me to do your show? Do you know what they responded? Do it your style. Do it your way. I did do it my way. I added the elements of what the original presenter wanted, and I added my own unique twist to it. And you know what? I felt good for that. I felt privileged to be on the air doing my own style of radio show. Why? Because it was an achievement. Yes, I recorded the news that day. I said words that I messed up on. Went out all day. It went on too long. I didn't mind. My voice was out there. A 2 minute news bulletin, which should have been 2 minutes recording, took 5 minutes, and then I uploaded the 5 minute interview, news and sport and weather. I didn't care. I was happy with that. I listened back at the fact. I haven't got the actual recording now, so else it would have been shared. But I remember saying certain words like not intermittent as it should have been. I said intimate. Little goofball moments like that makes me smile. I even asked people on a later show when I actually did have my own physical show, do you want a song? And they said, yeah. And they asked for a certain song. I didn't check the lyrics at the time. And luckily, I did apologize when I did realize, but that song they asked for had bad language in it. But I held myself accountable and I said sorry. Now, if that was on actual FM radio, because at the time the radio was not on FM, I would have been in trouble major because I let a certain swear word come out. But I learned from that. I learned from that day, and I learned to always check for songs before I put it out on the radio. I'm not on the radio now, I'm just doing podcasts, but the fact is I'm still passionate about my belief about community and being part of something local to you. And when I was part of that community radio, I felt like I was doing something for the local area. That's the key element of community, is being there for someone. Community is about, and that's this what the ethos was about the radio. It's about being there for the community, being there for the elderly people, being there for the people who are isolated. I'm going to always be there for the isolated. I'm always going to be there for the community, even if it's in podcast form. The podcast is going to be about the community. The guests I've got lined up is about them sharing their life stories, which can resonate with the community. You are my community. So I am grateful for you being here. So that's my life update. And if you are in a season of change or just feeling a little lost, I hope this episode reminds you that you're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to change direction. And yes, you're allowed to take up space in your own story. If you feel like this, like I said, resonates with you, leave a message in the comments. It'd be good to share a wise word or two. Share your love, share your story, be part of it. We'll be back soon. There's a few more episodes coming up, and season 14 of the journey is going to be big. I know it's going to be big. Do you know why? Because I'm going to make it big. Until then, stay safe, everyone, and take care of yourself. Drink some water now. If there's sun where you are, get some sun. Be gentle. Be true to yourself. And thank you for being part of the journey.
Hi, my name is Ammie Harrison. I just published another book, and this is the first hard copy I've released. Let's claw right into a sneak peek. Hi, I'm my Galaxy Brat. Error. It is becoming clearer. Y'all probably think I'm annoying. Turns out they all just plain boring. I'm just being me, the realest version. Sweet on the inside, tell like it is on the outside. Yes, I embrace love, never hate. But honesty flies in my mouth like a dove. Be careful before it's too late. If you want to read more, visit the link in the description. Meow at you later.
By Tim Parsons. The narrator is Kate Barton. Director and producer, Darren Street. Tim Parsons would like to thank family and friends for their support with the paramedic Chris venture. The series is dedicated to the memory of his father, Reverend David Parsons. Copyright Tim Parsons 2020, all rights reserved. Unauthorized use, copying or sharing of this audiobook is strictly prohibited. This has been a Voice Reel studio production for Tim Parsons.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I've just been listening to the Paramedic Chris children's books on audio again, and I just love it because they've given a tribute in one of them to my dad as well, who passed away a few years ago. I love audio books, and it's great to walk around, and it's great to sit at the computer, if you're out jogging or wherever, to listen to them as well. All 4 of the Paramedic Chris children's books are available on audio book from Amazon. Go and take a listen to them. You won't be disappointed. You'll hear what happens when a community pulls together and supports one another. The best thing is to pop over to my website, paramedicchriskidsbooks.org, and you'll see the links on the shop page. Keep safe, everyone, and thank you for being you.
The Journey podcast explores stories of personal growth, challenges, and life-changing moments. Each episode dives into unique experiences, offering insights and inspiration for listeners navigating their own paths. I believe everyone has a story worth sharing. If you'd like to share your journey with David and others, email your story to wisewords1983@reborn.com, and it may be featured in a future episode.